Ever had something important to say, but the words just won't come out? Like you know the exact words that you want to say, but they come out sounding like a nervous 12-year-old asking a girl to the school dance? Welcome back to No More Awkward, where we build social skills that last. In today's video, I'm telling you about something which literally transformed my entire social life, and it made me come off as confident and charming even when I was shitting bricks on the inside. And it's not about faking it until you make it, it's about using your voice as a weapon and a tool to come across 10 times better than you already do. Because here's what nobody tells you: it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Think about it like this: imagine you give some home cook, some mum of a family, you give her really fancy ingredients and tell her to cook a meal, and you give some chef really basic ingredients and tell him to cook the same meal. Which one's going to turn out better? Obviously the chef's one is, because he knows the way of preparing it. You can have the best ingredients in the world, but if you don't know how to cook it properly, your meal's going to suck. So basically, your voice is the delivery system for you to communicate. I'm sure you've noticed guys who will say nothing and they get a bunch of attention, and you might have some really smart idea, but no one will listen to you. It's all about your delivery system, about the way that you communicate it. See, here's the science behind it. Firstly, your brain makes a decision about someone within the first 7 seconds, which means it's completely crucial to get that first impression right. Secondly, your voice carries about 38% of that impression. 38%. Whereas your words, the content of what you say, is only 7%. So if you think about it, that's over 5 times more importance is how you say something as opposed to what you actually say. So if your voice sounds nervous or weak, it's game over. But you can still control your voice. And if you can control your voice, you can control how people see you. Alright, so when you're nervous, there's actually a physiological change that happens in your body. You actually go into a sort of fight or flight mode. Your throat tightens up, your breathing becomes more shallow. So imagine this. Imagine something like, oh, hi, how are you? Versus like, hey, how are you? Like there's quite a few different tells that we'll get into later. So for example, people will start talking really fast when they're nervous. And also your voice, your vocal cords become tighter because you're tense. So your voice actually goes higher. Some of the dead giveaways for this is, yeah, speed talking, also up talk. So everything sounds like a question. So on the weekend, I went to the movies, and then I went to the shops, and I really like soccer. Like they just end everything with a little up at the end of the sentence, even when it's not a question. The next thing is filler words. So words like, stuff like that. You know what filler words are. Another thing is volume drop. So again, at the end of the sentence, people will like trail off. So they'll say something like, "Oh, I went to the movies," and then, "What's your favorite sport?" And, "Oh, your favorite sport is basketball. I love basketball." You know, they just slowly diminish and slowly lose that volume throughout the rest of their sentence. And yeah, if this sounds familiar, don't worry, because we're going to fix all of this. So firstly is voice tone and depth. So scientifically, lower voices are, again, physiologically, your brain will associate them with authority and trustworthiness. Like, think about every movie villain. They don't have little squeaky voices. They always, apart from obviously some exceptions, they all have very commanding and dominant voices. And same as the heroes, again, without the exceptions. So, how to find your natural deep voice? Say, uh-huh, as if you're agreeing with someone, like, uh-huh. And then try say hello with that same spot. That's your natural voice. Feel the difference? That's something I was guilty of. Or sometimes I find myself a bit up here talking, not that high, but it's it's still quite a deep place because my voice is naturally deep, but it's not where my voice originates from. Like I can literally feel when I speak like this, I can feel my whole throat like vibrating. I can feel the vibrations in my throat. Whereas up here, it's a lot softer. Like you can literally feel the power, which is a bit. It's quite a big difference. And your voice comes from your body, not just your throat. So I'll make a separate video about body language, but you want to stand up straight with your shoulders back, obviously. There was actually a study on this, by the way, where they got participants to stand in a Superman pose. So like hands on the hips and like chest up just for 2 minutes. And there was like a 20% testosterone boost or something in free testosterone after the pose. So there is literally chemical reactions happening based on your posture. So the reverse is also true. When you're slumped over like this and looking at the ground, your body feels nervous, so it starts sending you nervousness chemicals, and it starts dropping your testosterone. Have like your chin parallel to the floor. Another, obvious one. Don't have your head down or up, and try talking while slouching versus standing still, and just listen to how your voice sounds, because you can get a lot more projection and a lot more volume when you're out like this, as opposed to like this. Like you can hear my voice is being cut off a little bit. So pretty obvious stuff. Have good body language. Next, we're going to talk about pacing and pauses. So like I mentioned before, nervous people will be talking fast and more confident people will be talking slower. Ever notice how presidents speak? They always speak very slowly. They're never in a hurry to get their words out because they know that what they're saying is worth listening to. You can implement something called strategic pausing to sort of give your statements punctuation, so they give weight to your words. So you can say a sentence. Let's take a sentence like, I'm going to be the next president of the United States. Just for an example, say, I'm going to be the next president of the United States. It's like, I'm going to be the next president of the United States. You see what I mean, right? It's night and day. Also, it gives you time to think, because when you try to talk fast, your brain has to compute faster and your mouth has to work faster to coordinate speaking and all of that stuff, right? So when you pause and you slow your speech, you allow your body time to think and process, which is another valuable skill. Plus, it makes people intrigued to hear what you're going to say next. The next thing is the breathing foundation. Breathing is super important. Don't overlook this. So again, I know we're not going to go into so much detail, same with the body language thing, but just breathe. When you breathe, you should be pushing your belly out. Place one hand on your chest, one on your stomach. Only the bottom hand should move when you breathe. So when you breathe in, you should only feel that stomach in and out. You shouldn't be with the chest. It's only with the stomach. So it keeps your voice steady and stronger. So what I want you to try is read out loud with exaggerated pauses. Just read a book or something and really exaggerate the pauses, just to get into that mindset and that space of the natural pauses. Even count to 2 seconds, like a movie trailer when they have, in a world where darkness reigns over the day, or something like that. You know how they have those big pauses in between the sentences? That's something you want to emulate. So technique 3, eliminating filler words. This one I'm really guilty of as well. So this is things such as like, these are all confidence killers. They make you sound unsure and unprepared. It's like having a stutter, but worse because it's an actual choice. Like I said, I'm guilty of this. I think, to be honest, I know there's a bit of analysis on myself, but I think the way I got this is because my dad he really interrupts me a lot. So I think I built this up as a defense mechanism to sort of talk as quickly as possible and fill in all the little gaps with as many words as I can so I don't get cut off. So maybe you might have a similar experience with a friend or something. I'm not sure. But it's something I'm deliberately working on, and I'm trying to implement those pauses. And another thing you can do, which I know is a bit of a tangent, but if you are in that situation and you get cut off and you feel like you need to use these filler words just to maintain your social control or your verbal control, what you can do is take the pause, they start talking, just once you gather your thoughts, just keep talking over them. And one of two things will happen. Either they'll stop talking or they'll confront you about it a bit and say something like, why are you interrupting me? And say, no, you interrupted me. I was just finishing my sentence. So yeah, it's either way, it's a win, right? So instead of use silence. Silence is powerful. Like I said, it can punctuate your sentences, whereas filler words are weak. So yeah, just practice having conversations where every is a pause. Maybe 3 of your conversations every day, you just focus on this one thing. It's going to feel weird at first, but just stick with it. Sorry, I have to sneeze. Never mind. It's gone. I'm a bit sick at the moment, but got to keep the grind up. All right. Sorry, I'm going to need some water too. All right. The replacement strategy. So the filler words to watch out for is when you say like when describing things. You can say, it assumes people understand. If you say basically, it weakens your point before you say it. If you say sort of or kind of, it makes you seem unsure. And yeah, why would you want to weaken your own words? So I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because it's pretty much what inspired me to create this whole channel. I went to a uni social group with a friend, some Christian social group, and all the guys there were stammering, looking down, zero confidence, crazy. And they were not new to this place. They'd been there for months to years, so they were regulars. Whereas obviously I was a bit nervous because it was my first time there. But I walked up confident, walked straight into the circle of the girls, because all the girls were in a circle and half of the guys were in the circle, but they were scrolling on their phones, and half the guys were not even in the circle, just on their phones elsewhere. Whereas all the girls were, talking to each other and engaged. So I walked up, introduced myself, said I'm new, that sort of thing, and I made much more of an impression and found myself already having better conversations with the girls who I met that day for 5 minutes than these guys who have known some of them for years. So I had the same nerves as everyone else, possibly even more, but a completely different outcome because I controlled how I sounded, not how I felt. So here are some practical exercises you can do. So firstly is daily voice training. So what you can do is record yourself on your phone having a phone conversation and then listen back and count the filler words, not the pace. And just, no judgment, just be aware of it. Sort of subconsciously, I do the same thing with YouTube because sometimes I'll watch my old videos and I'll hear all of the likes that I use, and that's sort of what prompted me to make the video as well, because it's sort of when I was hearing one of the ones I recorded yesterday, I was hearing myself saying like a lot, and I was thinking, that makes me sound a bit unconfident, so I need to work on it more. Another thing is, again, sounds a bit weird, but just trust me, give it a try. Just practice introductions in the mirror, like focus on that deep voice, that steady pace, the strong ending. Hi, I'm Nick, nice to meet you, or obviously whatever your name is. Another thing, read news articles out loud. Pretend you're a news anchor. So in today's news, we have tropical weather with a 23.7 degree shower. Obviously, I'm waffling, but you get the idea. Just read news articles with that sort of same energy and really exaggerate the pauses, drop the voice at the end of sentences rather than go up, that sort of thing. Here's a weird thing that actually works. It's called the phone test. Practice having phone conversations standing up, because your voice sounds much more confident when you're not slouched. There's a reason why people stand up, because it changes everything. So even like DJs, that's why DJs are standing up. And now for some real world practice. Order coffee with intention, or go about your day just with intention. So do a task you would already do. I just mentioned ordering coffee. I actually don't drink coffee, but I know lots of people do. But you can be ordering coffee. You can be asking for, if somebody's using something at the gym, you can be asking where a room is or directions are. You can ask someone for help with uni work, whatever. But do it with intention. All of these habits, get rid of the filler words, drop the voice down. Don't do the up voice or the quiet voice or whatever. Have the body language, all of that. And yeah, every interaction is practice. Why waste these opportunities? So lastly, we're just going to talk about a mindset shift. So there's confidence versus arrogance. I need to state this because lots of people get the wrong idea. So you're not saying, yeah, the confident voice is I believe what I'm saying, and the arrogant voice is I'm better than you. And oftentimes, I can't lie, I hear the arrogant voice more from people who don't have the vocal confidence. Like at this Christian group, there was this one kid, crazy story, but he was, sorry, it's a tangent, but it's a funny one. This guy was, we all sit on the floor in little circles, and this guy brings up a chair from literally around the corner. Like he walked like a minute and grabbed the chair. Like he didn't, it's not like it's his own chair or something. He just grabbed a chair, and then he started acting superior, like, oh, I'm on a chair, guys. Like he literally was saying shit like oh, I'm higher up than you. Like it was the most ridiculous thing. It's like, bro, you're not funny. Like you're just being annoying, right? I think the main difference is that confident people make others feel good. So yeah, and secondly, the second part of the mindset shift is the permission to take up space. Stop apologizing for existing in conversations and remember that your thoughts and your words deserve to be heard. You have the exact same right to speak as everyone else does. So stop surrendering it to others. Look, here's what nobody tells you about confidence. It's a skill. It's not a feeling. You don't wait to feel confident. You practice sounding confident until you automatically become it. Like I said, if you just put yourself in the Superman pose, you naturally get more testosterone, which makes you feel confident, which then reinforces that pose. So it's the same logic. It's like learning how to drive. It feels impossible, and then all of a sudden it becomes automatic. So I want you to pick just one technique to start off with. Just one. Voice tone, pacing, filler words. Focus on that for 7 days straight, and then focus on the next one. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? You'll sound better. And these small changes in how you sound, they create massive changes in how people see you. They could be the difference between you getting a promotion and somebody else, or you getting a girl's number or you don't, or what the hell, or anything else like that. Because your voice is your most powerful tool, so you need to learn how to use it right. Remember, every confident speaker that you admire had to learn this stuff. Every YouTuber, every politician, everyone learned all of this stuff with specific speech training and speech therapists. The only difference between you and them is they actually practiced and put in the work. So stop letting your voice hold you back and start letting it lift you up. If this helped you, hit that like button, please. It really helps out. Subscribe for content that makes a difference. Join the Discord for even more tips on social life. Drop a comment, tell me what technique you're going to try first, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.